everybody. My name is Christian Slider, and welcome back to That's the Flavor. It's been a minute, hasn't it, there, audience? I can see you guys kind of like jolting up from your nap in the back of the classroom, but welcome back. Hello, hello. It is episode 4, and man, it feels good to give that intro. It feels good to be back. This week, I am joined with Peyton and Cameron, some familiar faces here.
What's up?
It's going to be a
What's
good episode.
up?
We're going to talk about, where the podcast has been, where it might be going. The fact that there's there's spooky bronchitis going around, and then
Spooky bronchitis.
and then we're gonna end up a little tale talking about me and Peyton's New York fiasco and how Cameron was involved. Definitely gonna be a good episode this week, guys. I'm excited. Before we get into it, I realized one thing I wasn't doing in the past couple episodes was telling you guys that the show comes out every Sunday, unless something changes or I explode or I disappear for 5 weeks. But that's beside the point. The show is out every Sunday on all of your favorite podcast services. Whether it be the Spotify or what are the other podcast services?
iHeartRadio.
iTunes.
Nope. Stitcher. Some website called Breaker.
Just some random website.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot of
I barely know her.
Only sites. The only one I realized we're not on Apple Podcasts, so I got to look into that and fix that because that's a big one that I would like to be on. At least
That's one I use.
According to Anchor, which is where I run all the podcast stuff through, we're not on Apple Podcasts, but a portion of the listeners listen through Apple Podcasts, so I don't know about that one. That's interesting for sure. I'll have to look into that, though. But, yeah, so we come out every Sunday. As top of that, another announcement, there is the That's the Flavor Twitter account. At That's the Flavor, it's got, the me falling into the recycling bin as the profile image. It's kind of hard to miss, kind of hard to spot. And, yeah, it's the Twitter account. I might tweet out random things, or just when episodes are live and up on all the respective services. And, yeah, those are like the two kind of housekeeping things before we hop on into it. But I realized I got to start doing that stuff at the beginning of the episode, so that way it's in the front instead of, at the end of the episodes where maybe people don't listen. Because
they don't make it that far.
Yeah, exactly.
Falling back asleep.
Minutes in, they stop listening at minute 22, But
is that right now?
So let's get into, I think, a bigger topic here in the room of where has That's the Flavor been for 5 weeks?
Where you been, Christian? Where you been?
No, it's not where I've been. It's where the podcast has been. We gotta remember the podcast has been.
Of course.
That's why That's the Flavor with Christian Slider, because I'm not the podcast. The podcast is its own thing. It does its own life. It's got kids, a wife, child support, an ex-wife.
It pays job.
Never heard of her.
Yeah, I'd like to meet her.
Yeah. We can all have dinner sometime or something.
Yeah, his ex-wife's name is Savor.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
They once had a little podcast called Savor the Flavor, and it was Yeah. And when things fell through, and there was a custody battle over the kids, and
it happens.
It's rough for Flavor, but this has been like kind of his one godsend, his one go-to thing. And if you're wondering, audience, if it's his go-to thing, again, why has it been missing for 5 weeks? So let's get into that. So I was in a little show called Leading Ladies. It's a play by Ken Ludwig. It's comedy. It's a good time. I enjoyed doing it a lot. For those of you that don't know, I am really into theater. I'm currently a theater major, school for, etc. So I was in this show, and week number 1, Tech Week hit. And if anybody who does theater, Tech Weeks be a little sucky, depending on just in terms of like.
Shit's brutal.
Yeah, it is.
Exactly. Or other times, you could have a really smooth going Tech Week. This one was kind of a mix between the two. And yeah, it was Tech Week, and I was just exhausted. I wanted to make sure that whenever I put out these episodes, that they're good content for you guys to listen to and watch, or not watch, I guess, because there's no video. Watch in your mind. You can kind of like draw pictures in your head of what is going on currently as I speak. It's like a fun game of Pictionary.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Then week number 2 was It was show week. It was weekend number 1 for the shows for Leading Ladies, and those are all weekend shows. Normally record That's the Flavor on the weekend because it's when people are free. God, Christian. Okay. And then number 3 was show weekend number 2 for leading ladies. Week number 4, I was in New York, actually, on the day when I would have been recording. I was in New York with Peyton, which is where we get today's story from. And then number 5, which was last week, I thought about it. I was like, I could record That's the Flavor. But I chose not to. Mainly just because, stress and stuff going on in the real world. I mean, we all know there's the spooky bronchitis going on. And just normal life stressors. It was spring break, but also the fact that my classes are transitioning and stuff like that. I feel like a lot of you out there know where I'm coming from and understand that.
It's a tough time to be a college student right now. Let's just put it that way.
Couldn't relate.
I'm not a college student, but I feel like it's a tougher time to be a high school student.
I wouldn't know, but yeah.
I guess if you want to learn, it's hard. But if you don't want to learn, it's pretty great.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking about it because I was talking to someone yesterday. I forget who. I talk to a lot of people. I'm a busy man. Got to make all the flavor deals and business.
Oh yes.
Yes. But we were talking. It's like all the way it's looking for all these like high schools is like they don't get to have like graduation or like any of their spring shows and like things like this, like that. Like all their sports are canceled and it's like all the especially it's like seniors, like all the stuff that you would normally gonna do just canned and not able to happen. So like it just I don't know, stuff like that sucks because I know that we were all high school seniors and like that's all stuff we got to do that now we get to do. I don't know, it sucks. But that's a little bit of a downer topic, but if we really wanted to get into it, I mean we could. But so that's where I've been. That's where That's the Flavor's been, and now we're here. We're back. This is week number 6, but hey, week number 6, I didn't skip it, guys. We're back on track, back on the podcast. The first bit of hello train in the background. I'm gonna shut the window before the
Good morning, train.
Good morning.
I'm gonna shut the window before that train gets closer. Like I heard it in the distance, and I was like, "Oh no!" It may still come up on the audio anyway. Who knows? It'll be a fun little bonus. Maybe
I didn't hear it.
So they can hear it.
I did not hear it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's where I've been. But I have a question for Cameron, and then for Peyton, or Peyton and then Cameron. How have you guys?
Let's see how it is
with the spooky bronchitis. I'm curious. A little bit of a check.
Peyton.
Okay. Well, I've been okay. I've been kind of like staying in my house for the most part and everything like that, which hasn't been the best, but it is what it is. I'm a little nervous to because I mean, there's still things I need to like go out and do and stuff like that, and I'm not like scared that I'm gonna get it, but I'm like nervous that if I do get it, it's gonna affect me a little more than it would affect the rest of my family because I already have a respiratory illness and so my lungs already don't really function that great. So I'm like, oh goodness, if I get it, it could be like kind of not great. And I've been in the hospital before for my asthma, but it's been controlled since I was like 4. So I'm like not trying to end up there again, but I guess we'll see what happens. But yeah.
You'll be okay.
Fun.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll make it. I'm sending you all my faith. Good faith.
Thank you. Yeah. So we're just bunkering down and getting through it. It's all right.
All you can do.
Oh yeah.
Cameron, how about you?
Well, so a lot of people have been out of work recently, but I work.
That would be me as well.
Yes, but I work at a restaurant, and not just any part of the restaurant, but I cook, right? So I am kind of the last person in the restaurant that would, have days off and not work. So I've been pretty busy, but last night in particular, I come in at 4:00 and like 10 minutes later, I get an order. I complete the order. As soon as I'm done with the order, another one comes in. I'm like, oh boy, it's gonna be one of those nights. Halfway through that one, I get 2 more. Halfway through those, I get 4 more. This continued for 5 hours.
Oh gosh!
For about 2 hours, I think we had at least 10 orders that were being prepared at once. And mind you, I wasn't the one cooking. I was the one preparing all the food that doesn't need grilled. So it was hectic. We actually had to call a couple people in. It was very busy. I think I did not sit down for 5 hours. So.
Yeah.
Christian, I lost you. Hello, Christian, are you there?
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, okay. Sorry, you sounded like you ran away.
No, I'm just silently
Yeah.
listening.
I thought we lost you.
Are able to say, I want to make sure that you guys are able to, like, say your piece. That's one thing I realized, again, from listening back to the past episodes, That's the Flavor, is I talk a lot. And I was like, I have these people on, and, like, they have interesting stories and stuff to tell as well. And I just want to make sure that I, let people say their piece a little more,
I think we could all learn to listen to each other.
Yes.
Listen to each other, we must learn. Master Yoda said that. He did.
Yeah, probably. It's quoted somewhere in, like, maybe one of the children's picture books.
Yes, exactly.
Probably.
Which are canon, I hear.
Yeah, no, they are, which is weird. But also, it's kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Are they really?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of really weird Star Wars material that's canon.
Yeah.
Like,
That's
most
so
of the
crazy.
comics are canon. A lot of the games aren't canon, but some of the new ones are, like the Battlefront games and Jedi Fallen Order's canon. All the original and the sequels obviously are canon. And then The Mandalorian and Clone Wars.
Yeah, I mean,
and Rebels.
What
Those.
Disney did when they got Star Wars was, all right, anything that we haven't made or we don't fully have our hands on, like, is no longer canon. So what happened?
Right.
What that means is, reset the service where it's like, hey, the only thing that's really canon at this current point is these 6 movies, and
Yes.
now whatever we do after that, like,
and the Clone Wars,
and Clone Wars, yeah, of course, yeah, and Clone Wars, like these movies and Clone Wars is canon, and then now as we start adding things back under the Disney control, now things can be canon. So, we'll mention something that was canon before, but now it's not. I mean, or now it is. Like, you know what I mean, or something along those lines.
Right.
Yeah.
And they can now kind of build this puzzle back together of the pieces that they want, because there is no more puzzle to be built. Like, they're not building on anything; they're just building what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's yeah. Even things like the children's books are canon, which is interesting.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Watching Empire Strikes Back today, so.
Ooh.
Yep.
That's a good movie.
Oh yes, it is.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
It is indeed. Yeah, I mean that sounds like it sucked though, Cameron. I kind of feel bad. You're up for like standing for 5 hours.
It was good. It was all right.
Yeah. We
worked through it.
Yeah, I mean,
all of us got along really well at the restaurant, so it helped a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Like, at least it wasn't like complete hell. You know what I mean? You were just like
yes,
crying on the floor by the end of it. Like that's.
Oh well, some people were.
Oh.
Not crying on the floor, but they were definitely in a lot of pain.
Oh gosh.
I was thriving.
That's not what I like to hear. That's not the flavor.
I was in my zone.
Don't you just love that? Like getting into the zone, like when you're at work and like it's a drag, and then you just like hit the zone and like things are just good. They may not be good for everybody else, but they're good for you for like at least like a good chunk of time.
Yep.
Yeah, and like it feels like it's only been an hour, but then actually it's like you're like halfway through your shift and you had no idea.
Yeah.
Those are the good nights when I worked at Joann's. Those are the good nights.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know for me.
And I could just vibe.
At the pharmacy, it's always up until I take lunch. I take my lunch, and then as soon as I get back from that, like everything else drags on for 9 years. But like, in the morning, so it's like I work like early shifts. Like I work 6 in the morning till 2 in the afternoon, and so like I try to hold off my lunch for as long as possible, and then I like take lunch and then I'll come back. So like I've done it to the point where like I technically leave at 2:30, and so like I'll go and I'll take lunch at like 1:45. I'll come back at 2:15, work like what can be the slowest 15 minutes of my life, and then I leave. But yeah,
that's the way.
It's kind of the way, yeah. I don't know if it's healthy by any means, touch the imagination, but we're doing it.
We are doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I know me personally currently have all the spooky bronchitis stuff going around. Because it's weird, it's been weird getting hit with all the emails of, oh hey, by the way, we're switching to remote learning. It's not virtual learning. I got yelled at by my teacher for calling it virtual learning. It's remote learning. And just like it's so weird because I'm worried as a theater major, like it's about to be a rough second half of the semester.
Yeah, I'm taking a theater class this semester, and he just now he disabled his entire page to revamp it and figure out what he was going to do this for the remainder of the semester, and he just now sent out the syllabus, I think at noon this morning or something like that, because we have no idea how do you take a theater class online? I don't understand.
Now,
but
I'm worried. You know what I mean? I'm worried because all of my classes are theater related. It's my acting, my class, my voice, and then also my practicum, which is all backstage work.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting. And mind you, there are colleges out there who actually teach their entire acting program online.
That's crazy.
So I know there's ways
How?
to do it, and they teach their entire acting program online, and
that's bonkers.
Their students excel at it, and they get these really good skills, but all through online and all through on video calls and stuff like that. But
that's a little bonkers.
I'm shook. That's crazy.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because it's I want to know how it's done. But what bothers me is whoever's doing it has already been doing it, and they have a system. Right now, all of my theater professors are being forced to change their system on a hairpin to be all remote focused.
Right.
And I'm trying to go in with the positive mindset. I have a group chat where it's us, a bunch of the theater majors at and so I'll probably end up leaving that out. But I was I just said where I go to school. Nope. But what am I trying to say? But we have a group chat, and we were talking about it. It's someone was I'm so disappointed that I don't get to have the full theater experience for the rest of the semester. And I'm we have to at least go in giving it some benefit of the doubt, some kind of positive mindset, or else it's gonna be the worst thing possible. So I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah, I've been trying to go at it with a positive mindset, but there's a reason I wouldn't take summer classes online or whatever, just to get ahead in my degree or whatever, because I'm literally so bad at online learning. If I have the option of getting a virtual textbook or with an access code or a physical textbook, I'm going to get the physical textbook regardless, because I cannot learn from a screen. I've tried, and my brain just shuts down, and it takes me twice, if not 3 times as long to do an assignment that I would just normally just be able to crack out nobody's business. But I can't learn through a screen, so I'm ready to watch my GPA just fall 10 stories through a building. It's not going to be very great, but I can't learn online, so we'll see how this goes.
And on top of that, to bounce off that statement, I'm worried because I know that, newsflash, last semester I took a blended course of Communications 101, but it was really just we only ever went onto campus to do any of our tests, same as any other online course, unless it's not that way. So but I failed that class. So I'm definitely not excited for this, because acting is something I know I'm good at and I do well at, but I'm worried that none of that's going to translate. I have monologues and stuff I have to do. How is that all going to work through video calls? Would I have to set up my camera so you can see my entire room and do it that way? It's just
it's going to be iCarly.
iCarly. And it's things that I know there are answers to and solutions to, but how well are they going to work? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm right there with you.
Tomorrow, so I'll definitely be able to tell you guys next week.
Yep.
Audience.
Same.
On how these go. We'll have to report back for sure.
Oh gosh.
We'll be fine though. We'll be fine, guys.
Yeah.
So, just a lot of worries going on right now, and I think it's all crazy. There's just a lot of worry, and I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I'm gonna.
My dad's you guys are living through history. You're gonna because we are, in a way. We're he's I hope you guys are paying attention, because we're literally living through history right now. And I'm can history just stop? This is cool. I lived through the plague in 2020, but but I'm over it now. I'm this was cool for 3 days that we were living through history, but I'm over it. History can stop now. I'm over it.
That stance as well too, where it's hey, this is you're living through history right now. But yeah, just because we're living through history doesn't mean it's enjoyable. You know what I mean? Same thing where it's
I'm not having a good time.
People during the Dust Bowl, they weren't oh, hey kids, you're living through history.
This is history.
You don't know. I'm serious. But
yeah, exactly.
Timmy, I know you're coughing up sand right now, but you're living through history.
You really get
come on.
you get some experience, boy.
Boy, you take that dirt and you shovel it down. Get the dust bowl.
You eat it like a man, Timmy.
Dust bowl. I mean,
Oh God.
Right.
I don't know. I think we're young, so if you really want to like look at things optimistically, I think after this is all over, and who knows how long it'll be. I'm not going to sit here and say I like know, but when it is, I think we'll look back and we'll be like, man, that was like really interesting perspective on world events, and like we should use this as adults now to help people and to advise the younger generations on if this happens again.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Because like how many adults do you know who are like, oh yeah, I've seen this before, whatever.
I mean,
everyone's like, work is closed.
Yeah, literally.
What do I do?
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny though, because like I've been listening and talking to like a lot of people who are older than me and stuff like that. Like I just want to listen to like a bunch of podcasts, and they're talking about it, and it's like everybody keeps saying, if at least they've lived in the U.S., that like the last time like the country was like in a lockdown like this was like 9/11, and it gets crazy to think that like that's kind of like the same things happening for two arguably. And also maybe not non-arguably completely different events.
But like this is worldwide though,
Yeah, but I'm saying from the country.
Yeah.
Right. It does affect the world, but
yeah,
it's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And on that note, that's been your 21 minutes of spooky bronchitis talk.
Spooky bronchitis.
Bronchitis talk.
The more and more we talk about it, the more stressed I get. On that note, we'd like to talk to you and give you a moment from our sponsors. No, these are not our actual sponsors. Maybe one day we'll have actual ads to read, but
dang it.
Dang it.
Today's sponsor is the USB cord attached to my laptop. Have you ever realized that you have a USB cord and it does things for you, and you follow that USB cord all the way up to your earbuds, microphone, your VR headset, your controller, your mouse, your keyboard,
Where are you going with this one, Christian?
I'll say I'm really not sure where this is headed.
I'm not following the man.
Stay with me. You go and you follow it up to whatever device you have, and then you go and you follow it back down all the way to that USB little dongle, the thing that plugs into your device, and realize that you wouldn't have any sound, audio, capabilities that USB wasn't doing. So let's all take a minute and thank our USB.
Thanks, USB.
Thank you.
And Cameron, that's where I was going with the joke land. Thank you. Also, note the joke did not land. That was a rocky flight from start.
It did not land, folks.
Nope.
The landing gear is jammed. He's going down. Right now.
What?
It is like you were playing with like a box.
Yeah,
but like right near the microphone. And I was like, oh.
Concerned there.
I don't know.
It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
Everything's fine. We're here. So, quick little topic here. And I know I mentioned this to Peyton and Cameron before we started the episode. But I've realized that the first 3 episodes I'm now going to affectionately call the Homeward Bound trilogy. And here's why. Because they all talk about Homeward Bound.
Why wouldn't they?
Episode. So those are affectionately the Homeward Bound trilogy. On top of that, the Homeward Bound trilogy of That's the Flavor episodes, I look fondly as like the pilot episode. You know what I mean? It's the 3-part pilot. I feel like that. Yeah. Here's the thing. I think that like doing those episodes, then taking a break, I was able to think about what I could do better here, and I figured that out. And so now there's improvements making. Like we're giving out free donuts to every audience member starting today.
What?
All you do is you just email Cameron at
Excuse me?
I don't
Try
no,
again?
Cameron, stay with me.
I'm here.
If you want free donuts, all you have to do is email Cameron at wangjangle69@gmail.com.
Jesus,
And
my
when he
email.
sees the email, he'll open it up and he will put in an order for donuts for you, and then he will mail them to you through the internet.
Just send me your social security number, your credit card information, yes, and it'll happen.
Yeah, see, exactly. It'll happen.
Ooh, donuts for everybody.
Don't you worry, chillins,
We
little
created that
children.
flavor app, a DoorDash, but just for donuts.
I don't know if that's
It
a good
really
idea.
should be.
So it's like,
Oh, okay.
it's like-
Peyton disagrees.
like
All right, I guess there should be.
Dash.
Outvoted.
yeah, flavor dash, but just for
Flavor
Flavor
dash.
Dash. Let's do it. I'm down.
yeah.
I think we could all use the money.
I
Yep.
mean, Lonnie is my third middle name, so
I'm happy to hear.
yeah, it's great actually. It's really great having three names, but like you start to live with it after a certain point, and it all works out. But as you can tell, I'm running out of little sidebar stuff to talk about. Audience, it's not that obvious. But let's get into the main topic of today's episode. We talked about the spooky bronchitis. We talked about where I've been. We talked about a little bit of the housekeeping. Not in that order, but we're here now, and I would take y'all back to week number 4 of there being no episode. And as I mentioned, I was in a little place called North City with the one,
Ooh.
the only Peyton.
Yeah.
So, Peyton, I'm gonna pass the microphone off to you for the beginning of this story.
Okay. All right. So basically, I don't know how many months ago now because I just don't remember anymore. But I discovered this musical that was coming from the London West End called Six. And I became immediately obsessed with it. I'm a history major myself, and my favorite time period is the Tudor and Stuart dynasties. So I was like, well, this is literally my favorite little niche in history, but it's in musical form. It's my two favorite things combined. So I was absolutely perfect. So I was I need to see this pretty much immediately. Found out it was coming to Broadway in February and March, and I said, well, that's what I would like to do with my time. So I asked my dad, I was like, hey, so Christmas, right? I want to go see this musical. And he's like, I don't know. He's like, I don't know if I can swing. And I said, well, if you can't, I totally get it because Broadway is expensive. If any of y'all know, Broadway is expensive.
Yup.
So,
Like a whole $7. It's
oh, something like that. Add a couple zeros to that, and then you're closer. But so he ended up being able to swing it because my dad's the big gift guy. He doesn't normally get us a whole lot of things or anything like that for Christmas. He usually he's like, well, what's the biggest thing? He's like, what's the one big thing that you guys want, the cool thing? And that's the gift he always ends up getting. So my biggest one was the musical tickets, and he wasn't sure he was going to be able to swing it, but he ended up being able to, which was awesome. So we ended up going to see it not a week. I guess it was a couple, I guess a week or so before it officially opened on Broadway. So we saw it in previews with the original cast, and it was just the bestest time in the whole wide world. We also saw it on International Women's Day, so it was awesome. Yeah.
Wait, was it still in previews?
Yeah, it was still in previews. Its official opening day was the day it closed.
Wow.
Because of COVID-19. Yeah.
Wow.
Whoa,
that's what's crazy.
We don't call it that here. We don't. Whoa.
Because of spooky bronchitis.
Because of spooky bronchitis.
Yeah, it was supposed to open officially either March 12th or 14th or whatever, but that was the day Broadway shut down for spooky bronchitis. So we saw it literally right before it opened and right before it closed.
That's crazy.
Temporarily. Yeah.
Oh!
Does that blow your mind a little bit, Christian? Because it kind of blew my mind. I was like, wow, this is because remember, we didn't even want to see it in previews. We wanted to see it once it opened. So if we would have waited, we would never have gotten to see it. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. It had 5 days left in previews. And I said, you know what? We'll do it anyway because that's spring break. And then the day that it was official, its official opening day was postponed because of spooky bronchitis.
That's
crazy.
Isn't it so crazy? Yeah,
Oh.
March 12th, I think, was its official opening, and we saw it the 8th. So,
Oh.
yeah.
You know, and I would have
Yeah.
never been involved had you guys decided to go see it later.
Maybe.
I mean, you still might have been involved.
Because you
but-
wouldn't have seen it later.
We wouldn't have seen it, yeah. So I guess,
Oh, it's true,
yeah,
crap.
Cameron never would have been involved.
Sure.
This is it's a good story already.
So, Peyton, mentioned we saw the show. It was amazing.
Yes.
It's probably one of my favorite shows
So amazing.
on the Broadways. And I've seen
It might be my favorite show that I've seen on Broadway.
I mean, honestly, if I were to think about it, it probably is. But like, I feel like every time I see a show on Broadway, like it becomes my favorite show, at least for a little bit. But like Six was
Yeah.
different.
Six hit different.
Yeah, Six hit different. I didn't expect to laugh, scream, and cry all in one show. It was.
It happened.
Yeah, it happened though.
Oh yeah.
It
Oh
happened.
yeah. Oh yeah.
On that note, perform us from Six. Just kidding. I don't want to. Moving on from that. So, we got there. Let's kind of recount the play-by-play that leads to the big event. And you may think, audience, the big event means seeing Six, but oh boy, it doesn't.
Oh
So
no,
buckle in.
it's not.
Was not.
So, early morning, Peyton comes and gets me from undisclosed location.
Yes.
And we're driving. We're going to the train place, and time's looking a little short. Time's looking a little short. We had to be there on our train by what, 7:32?
7 something. Yeah, 7:36.
In the morning.
It was some really specific time.
Yeah, in the morning. And so we did a lot of running from scary back parking lot over to train station.
Yes.
Or as much running as I could. I could run. Peyton was in heels.
I was in heels. I made a
Now,
mistake.
Did we learn from this event to not wear heels when we go to New York?
Yes, we
Great
learned
idea.
heels.
To see where the heels become a problem later on in the story.
It's not the only problem, but yes, it is a factor.
It was a factor. I'll even admit it wasn't the only problem, but it was a factor. The problem. So we get on the choo-choos and we're going to the big city, the Windy City, what some might say, because that's what New York is, right? The Windy City.
Is that what they call it?
Yeah, and Chicago is the Big Apple. Yeah.
No, Chicago's the Windy City, you silly goose.
That was the joke.
I know.
I even got it.
Dang it.
Well, not at first, but whatever.
Ah.
Yeah, Cameron, you were like, what?
Wait a minute.
Okay, we were all. Ah, everything is fine.
Is it
It's fine. It's fine.
I'm trying to know this.
Just continue on, C-Slide. Continue on.
So we get on the choo-choo to the big city. Which big city? You go ahead and throw a dart at the map. Figure out where Broadway is. I'm not doing it for you. I'm not a Google Maps. So we're on the train. I think we watched a little bit of the CW.
Sorry.
You're not. Don't ever,
You're right, I'm not sorry, but continue anyway.
don't ever apologize for being the smartest guy in the room.
Okay. Thank you. I'm honored.
Spider-Man.
You just inflated his ego, like, at least
I
by
know, and I
three.
regret it. I've never done it yet.
It's a lot
Never.
harder than
Oh, God.
So, on the train ride there, we watched a little bit of the Crisis on Infinite Earths CW crossover. I had. We're not going to get into that. We're not going to get into that. That could be a whole podcast episode of its own talking about CW shows. Probably going to cry me bringing it up. And then we get to the big city. We're going to just kind of fast forward the whole train ride. It's just a train ride. Nothing crazy. I was just happy to leave the wheat and cornfields of my abode because I live in the cornfields.
Yes.
Yes.
All those fields of starch and grain.
Now let's see what happens. We get there, and we go up top side, and the station that we were at in New York, Penn Station, not necessarily right next to Times Square. It's a little bit of a walk, so we went and made that walk. It's still generally close. It wasn't a long walk by any means of the imagination,
No.
but it was still a walk. So we get to Times Square, and I forget exactly where all the events happened, but we're gonna kind of go through them. We get there, and I feel like we both realize, we're really hungry right now, like mad hungry.
I was
like,
very hungry.
I was hungry as well. We ended up going into Hard Rock, right there in Times Square. We went, and we're like, hey, Leo, we want some food. They're like, hey, it's a wait of, I think they said like, it was going to be like a 45-minute wait, but it was not a 45-minute
Yeah, they said like 35 or 45-minute wait, but it ended up being like 15 or 20. It was not bad at all.
While we were waiting, though, we went and did a little bit of browsing in the store area. I saw a cool bucket hat. Payne saw
You got the cool bucket hat.
I'm going to pick it up later as we were leaving.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was really excited about your bucket hat.
You ruined every joke.
I was excited about your bucket hat.
It's Cameron's podcast now. Quit.
Is it my podcast? Is that what you just said? Oh, sweet. Guys, I got a podcast. Mom, Dad, come look. They'll be so proud of me.
Oh, man. So, got Hard Rock, ate some really good food. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I got a big sandwich. Then on our way leaving, we went back in the store area because it's technically you have to leave through the store. It's how they have their store design. And then, little do you guys know, it's crazy, I know, but I bought the bucket hat. It's wild. Yeah.
You did not.
Yeah, Cameron, I bought the bucket hat.
That's crazy.
I talked him into the bucket hat. He wasn't very sure of it, but I said, no, you need the bucket hat.
Not sure about it. And yeah, so I bought the bucket hat. Peyton, you got the crappy toppy sweatshirt.
I did.
And we went about our day. I mean, I almost wanted to get this really nice jacket, but it was like $600, and I can't front that kind of cash. Unless I were to do a little bit of the Uno smuggling. You know what I mean?
Nope.
In my free time, I am an Uno card smuggler to countries like Zimbabwe.
Oh.
Yes.
Just a casual hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Casual isn't the word I'd use, but it's a hobby.
An extreme hobby. Got it.
Have you ever smuggled Uno cards?
Christian, back in my day, no. The answer's no.
Okay. I was going to say. There's no way you can top my nonsense of more nonsense on this one. This one's mine. This one's mine.
It's all yours, man. I want you to have it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. And then where do we go next? Did we go to the Disney store next?
I think we went to the Disney store next, yeah. Because I wanted to go to the Disney store.
Which is funny,
because I'm a child.
I love going to the Disney store. Just the music that's playing. I kept trying to sing Into the Unknown from Frozen 2, and it wasn't Frozen 2's Into the Unknown that was playing, and then it did play, and it was a really fun moment.
It was. I don't remember what song. I think it was playing either Show Yourself or Let It Go, and he was performing hardcore Into the Unknown, and I was like, "It's not right. It's not right at all."
You're so close, but no.
So close, but so far. Yeah, and we went into the Disney store. I mean, if you guys have ever been to Times Square, the Disney store is, I think, one of the cooler stores in Times Square. Personally, it's like 2 stories of all Disney stuff. I don't know, it's cool.
Yeah, it's fun to walk through and just check out.
Yeah. I got a really cool Little Mermaid mug from Mom. I think that's all I got from the Disney store. Peyton, what did you get from the Disney store?
I got a really cool backpack that has Nightmare Before Christmas, little adorable characters on it. And I also got a Stitch mug from the Disney store. And I use that backpack. I've used that backpack actually so much. I went on 2 hikes since being in the spooky bronchitis and everything like that. And just to get outside and get away from my house. And I've used it both times, and it was quite lightweight, quite nice. I quite enjoyed it. But I wasn't originally going to get it because it was $80-something, because the backpacks in there are stupid expensive, because I don't know why, but they just are. Probably because they're good quality, and it's Disney, yeah. But they were actually on clearance for $30 or $40. So I was like, you know what? That's a sign. So I bought it.
Yeah. And honestly, I think after the Disney store, we did a little walking around. We figured out we did a lot of picture taking. You know, not just like general. That's a general comment. We did a lot of picture taking at different spots. There was like one on Times Square where it has these really cool pink seats. It was on my Instagram. We took just a lot of fun photos. You know, there's a lot of ones. I don't want to get into them all because there was a couple. But then we can jump to the fact that we saw 6. You know, it was wild. It was crazy. As we already mentioned, it's an amazing show. If anybody's listening, you guys have the chance to see it, I highly recommend it. I saw a photo of my Broadway dad, Jordan Fisher, outside the Dearborn Hanson. I was very happy about it. Yeah, so we got out of 6, and we were like, "Hey, we're hungry again."
Yeah.
Because you know a lot of time has passed. Maybe we jump into these events really quickly, but time passed. So we went and we got some Shake Shack. Mind you, Shake Shack, chef's kiss. You know what I mean? Not really much to describe about it other than chef's kiss. I really enjoyed myself some Shake Shack. We got the Shake Shack. It was good. The fries, banger. Milkshake, banger. The bathroom.
I'd never been to Shake Shack, so I was excited to go.
I've never been
How
either.
did you enjoy your Shake Shack?
Christian made me go because he's like, you need to have Shake Shack. So I said, okay, and I went.
It was less of a you need to have it, but more I want to have it, and I can rope you into going to Shake Shack. You know, it was more of a strategic game of checkers, not chess, because that's too difficult for me to play. But, yeah, so we got the Shake Shack. The bathroom, I've realized the New York bathrooms are dirty.
They're
Really?
so gross.
There's no way.
No, and I know saying that's stupid, but, like, they're so gross. That's like, just clean them. Just clean them.
That's all it takes. Is just clean them.
Just clean them. There's my PSA. Hey, New York, clean your bathroom.
Listen, you got plenty of time while you're in lockdown. Just go in and clean the bathrooms, please.
Right now, just everybody, if you're listening to this right now, and you live in New York, let's clean that bathroom. Let's get it ship shape. You know,
Get her
right the
clean.
ship
Get her clean.
After we got Shake Shack, we went to the Broadway store. I don't know what it's actually called. Everybody just calls it the Broadway store. We went to Broadway store. That store, Peyton. I know you know what I'm talking about. Cameron, you probably know what I'm talking about.
I think it is
just
called the Broadway store on. I forget which street it's on.
But yeah, we went to that store. And I love walking in that store, but the magic wears off very quickly when you walk in that store. It's like, oh, this is fun. Oh, okay.
It's not a huge shop.
It does.
Yeah.
It's really small.
I don't know.
And there's not a whole lot of merch for like a bunch of different shows. There's like a few shows that they have a bunch of merch for, and then that's about it.
Yeah.
Like they have Wicked merch, a lot of that. They have a lot of Hamilton merch.
They have a lot of Phantom stuff.
They have a
Yes.
lot of Hades Town merch currently.
Yeah, which is odd.
I mean,
In Chicago.
Hades Town has a banger show. You leave that alone.
No comment.
Okay. You leave it alone, Cameron.
Understood.
Oh man, I can hear Hades rolling over in his town.
Ew, I didn't like that.
I didn't like
I
it
don't
either.
like
I
the one
wanted
at all.
to try something and it didn't work. Like
He's
a little
rolling over
panther
in
rolling
his
around in sand. It didn't work.
Why would he be in the sand? Is he in the desert or at the beach?
Panthers are desert animals, right?
Wait, we're talking about panthers? I think he said Hades.
I did, but then I said, I said the layers here, Cameron. It was I could hear Hades rolling around in his town. We were both like, I didn't like that. And I was like, yeah, I wanted to try something like a panther rolling around in sand.
Excuse me?
I'm really just not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Panther, it rolls in the desert.
Does it?
Panthers aren't in the desert.
This isn't this isn't the beach.
Listen, I saw the Jungle Book a few times. I know where Bagheera is, okay?
I've seen the Jungle Book a few times. I know where the jungle is.
I've seen the Jungle Book a few times. I know where the book is.
Oh, God.
And now we're here.
And,
So after that, so yeah, we did some more shopping, and then it got to the point where, like, I think Peyton, you and I both hit a wall. We were like,
Yeah.
We want to go home.
I would very much so like to be home.
It's not train time yet. So we were kind of just hanging out in Times Square for a little bit. And then, mind you, we start heading to our train. Our train,
Yes.
mind you, left at the time of 7:23.
You'll remember that time to the day you die, Christian, won't you?
I will. It kind of hung. So we start booking it, and we realized my phone started bugging out on the Google Maps how to get back to the station.
Yeah.
It was rough. We were very close.
Factor number one.
Time was rough. Time was really close.
Yeah.
We're running into
It wasn't. We literally thought we left it enough. I really thought we left enough time, and we both did. We were like, yeah, we'll be fine. But then time started I don't know what happened, but the foot traffic going into Times Square was increasing more than we thought it was going. It was just so many things that I suddenly had.
Whenever we were like, oh, we're tired, and we were just sitting in Times Square watching those weird street performers, we should have just left and went to the station and just chilled out.
Yes, that would have been our best option.
Yes.
However,
so we're running. Time is getting close. It's like
Mhm.
we're gonna arrive at the station 2 minutes before our train leaves. We gotta go. We run in, and it's crazy in that train station. Let me tell you, there's people walking.
Yeah.
The boards don't correctly tell you what's what. All the boards talking about planes, but none of them said anything about the trains that were leaving.
Yep.
So we last ditch ever. We went over to the police station and we're like, Mr. Officer, what train is on which track? Our train is this. Which track is it on? He's like, it's on that track, but it might already be leaving. We run down those stairs. I'm sprinting. I'm running. I've never sprinted more in my life, except maybe when they made me do the mile in gym and I didn't like it. But sprinting down the
Pacer
stairs.
test.
We get down there, and
The train is gone.
God.
Train's gone. So you see, this is where Christian began to immediately panic.
This is where
And
I
obviously-
shut down and Peyton took charge for a good 20 minutes. And so, Peyton, this is all yours. This is your ball.
Yeah,
Take it away.
I'll take this one. So basically, Christian started wigging out, and obviously I was wigging out too. But if he was freaking out, I couldn't be the one to also freak out, because if we had two minds that weren't there, we were never going to get anywhere. So I was I shoved my fear down into the pit of my stomach, and I said, no, I'm going to be a big girl and I'm going to handle this. So listen, my dad always was adapt and overcome. That's something that's been drilled in my head since I was I don't even know, probably 7 or 8. He's always been adapt and overcome. You'll figure it out. You just got to figure it out. And I'm like, oh, yes, sir. All right. So I was all right, we're going to figure it out. So Christian started freaking out, and I started talking to him I was trying to tame a puppy, right? I was it's going to be fine. We're going to go talk to the people and it'll be good. And he was just okay. And I'm yeah, it's good. We're going to do it. It's okay. So we go over to the customer service desk, and we were hey, so this is the situation. Our train left at this time. Is there any trains that are going from New York to the station we needed to be at all? And they were not until 5 in the morning. And I said, well, that's not going to work. And I said, okay, well, is there any chance that it'll be easier from where we live? It'll be easier to get home from Philadelphia than from New York. So we were okay, let me just think about it this way. Is there something from New York to Philadelphia? And the customer service people were no, not until 4 or 3 in the morning. And I said, well, that's not going to work either. So they're just go talk to the ticket booth people. Maybe they'll figure something out for you, but you better move fast before you lose your money with the tickets. And I said, okay. So we were walking past these 2 girls who must have also been on the train that we were supposed to be on, because they sounded panicked as well, trying to figure out how they were going to get back. And they mentioned something about a train that was leaving New York to Philadelphia at 9 p.m. The customer service people didn't mention that train at all. And I said, isn't that interesting? So I asked the ticket booth person, I said, hey, so this is a situation. I told him what had happened. And I said, is there seats available on that train from, I thought there was one that maybe left at 9, playing dumb, but also knowing that I knew what I was talking about. And she was yeah, we can trade it in. And it was just 15 extra bucks a person or whatever. So we just paid it out. And so we were okay, well, we're closer to home than we would have been before. So
this is true.
That's better. So then we started trying to figure out how to get home from Philadelphia to home. And then Christian, you can go tag in.
So by this point, I had calmed down enough like a little bit, like around the point where we realized there was like a 9 o'clock train to Philly. My senses came back to me a little bit. Only a little bit. I was still like on the teetery edge of losing my mind, because now we still have this issue of figuring out how to get from Philly to home, which Peyton had just mentioned. So we walk over to the waiting train area, waiting for our train. We have like an hour wait now at this point because it's like around like 8.
Yeah, but we weren't leaving Penn Station. Like, sorry, we're not going anywhere.
Yeah, we literally just sat down. We saw, mind you, okay, so we sat down. Peyton had to charge her phone. As we're going to like sit down and try to like collect ourselves, figure out what we're gonna do, we see some mice run under one of the areas.
Yeah, I said, "Oh, isn't this just lovely?"
Oh,
my first time seeing like live mice and rats in a place not a pet store. So that was exciting.
Like, the whole station looks pretty clean, and then you just see that, and you're like, I don't know what's behind that makeshift plywood wall, and I don't want to know.
Yeah, I don't want to know. I didn't even want to find out.
Yeah. So I sit down, I do this thing where I call my mom, I tell her, I'm like, yeah, like things are okay, we're gonna figure this out, it'll be fine, I'll keep you guys updated. And then I turn to one of the only sources of helping me out here that I know. And that would be the old Chevy group chat. For those that don't know, old Chevy is a friend group of like 8 of us. We've been friends since, a lot of us all been friends like together in different pairs and stuff, and we kind of became like a good friend group probably like us senior year of high school. And so I messaged him like, yeah, so guess we just missed this train to New York, and like we're from New York home, and we're talking back and forth, and like mind you, they're spitballing off stuff and be like, oh, have you checked this bus schedule? Have you checked this bus schedule? Like, have you checked this or that, like, or this train station, and everything was just no option.
Yeah.
And then,
and while Christian was handling this, now that Christian was calm, I had my freak out moment, and I sat in the corner and I was crying on the phone to my significant other. So we each had our freak out moment time. Christian was calm, so it's like, okay, now it's my turn to lose my mind. Go ahead, Christian.
Peyton
Sorry.
fixed the first half of our trip home, and then I had to figure out the second. Now I had to fix the second.
Yes.
And so, mind you, things looking dire, things looking bleak. Looks like we're spending the night in the Philly train station. You have to buy a whole other train ticket.
Our last resort was to call my dad, because we knew my dad would come get us because he was right near home and everything like that. So, but he had already like paid our way to like C6 and everything like that. So we were like, and when I told him that I didn't want to inconvenience him, he kind of didn't like that answer very much. He's like, it's not inconvenience. He's like, this is what dads do. They fix things. So I was like, yeah, I know, but you've already like done so much. So I was like, we knew he would come get us, but we also knew that would be a last resort because he had already done so much to get us to where we were anyway.
But mind you, before we called in our last resort, things were looking bleak. Things were looking dire.
Yes.
So we're going to have to press that emergency red button and, call Peyton's dad and explain the situation. And out of nowhere, I see a little head pop up in the Snapchat group chat. And that head belongs to the one, the only Cameron. Who pops up and says, hey, I can come
get you guys.
Are we talking about me now? Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, yes, we are, Christian. Cameron.
Talking about you.
You did it again, Peyton. I heard it.
I know I did. I'm sorry. I tried to stop myself.
And then,
You guys need to
Cameron goes, yeah, I mean, I can come and get you guys. I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, like it'll be an adventure. Just you're gonna have to pay for some gas. I was like, all right, that's cool. That's the least of my worries. And yeah, Cameron, basically, the whole plan was he was going to leave, like, roughly right around, like, the time that we're sitting here waiting to leave, because so he can make the drive to Philly and hopefully meet us there, like, right around the time that we got off the train at the station in Philadelphia. And so we had our plans set. And that was that. We ended up getting on the train. We get to the Philadelphia station. But before we continue the story, I would like to pass the ball to Cameron here. And it kind of explain what's going on from his side of things, from the whole seeing my stuff up in the group chat to saying you're going to come get us to getting there. I'm curious.
Well, so I think the thing that needs to be understood, first of all, is that I work early and I work late because I have a couple different jobs that I work. So I had been up really late the night before cleaning and whatnot, and then I had to wake up very early to open the restaurant. And after I was done with the restaurant that day, I had to go clean some more. And so as I was done cleaning, I got this text. And this, mind you, we have already been through 2 monsters for the day, energy drinks, that is. One for the morning, so I could have a little jolt when I woke up, and then one before I cleaned, so I had a little jolt after cooking. And so I'm in the group chat. That's not much of a story to tell here, to be 100% honest. Just mind you, I was tired and I was sick of working, and Christian's like, we're in Philly and we need help, and he sounded kind of panic, and Matthew, our good friend who was on the podcast, I think last time it was trying to help, and I was like, screw it, we're driving to Philly. So as Christian's like texting me like, are you like, because he really didn't want to inconvenience me. He was like, dude, this is a lot. Like, you don't have to do this. I was already in the car driving, hopping on the turnpike. I was on the turnpike as we were like working out the specifics here. Yeah, that's it. Why were the monsters and working relevant? They weren't. We had 4 monsters by the end of the day. By we, I mean myself.
So, fast forward or rewind, depending on how you look at it. Bam. We hop on. Actually, no, we're going to rewind a little bit because I feel like this is just an important nod, important reference. We hop on to the train taking us to Philly. As we walk in, there's just one lonely beer can sitting on a table. We keep walking. We find our seat.
Yeah.
These 2 guys, they were in front of us or behind us, but we sit down. These guys sit down right behind us. And we're like, oh, okay, whatever. People sitting behind us. And mind you, they were like the young, I'm wearing like a sports jacket but jeans, like business douchebags. And then we're on the train. All right, cool. And all of a sudden, I start smelling a little bit of the reefer, the marijuanas behind me.
Oh,
These
yes.
guys are smoking weed on the train.
Oh, yeah.
Just, I was like, oh, okay. I'm looking around. Nobody else really cares because they're all like earbuds in, like watching different YouTube videos. Some guys just watching compilation clips of basketball dunks. I was like, sir, you're in business class. But and then that's just a little note of the train. We get off the train. The train gets to the station. We get off the train and we just head to like the main area, and like we're just from there on we're just kind of chilling. Peyton, I believe, around this point, finally calls her dad. I go and get some Wendy's. She's on the phone with her dad. And I was like, oh, I'll get this. I got the Wendy's. And I was like, oh, I'm not that hungry. So I was like, oh, I'll give the Wendy's to Cameron. And then over time, I just kind of slowly kept eating at the Wendy's. So it was all
Yeah.
I was really excited for some Wendy's.
I didn't even know it existed until you got there.
And you told me it was gone. Imagine my disappointment, Christian.
You're right. I apologize.
I wanted Wendy's, man.
Oh,
So,
God.
all of a sudden, I was kind of hanging out. I was like, hey, Cameron, just we're inside the main area. Like, just text whenever you get here, or like, whatever. Cameron doesn't text us. Instead, he just walks in and shows up, and we're like, oh, okay, Cameron's here. All right. Cameron's like, I gotta go to the bathroom. Cameron goes to the bathroom.
I really had to go to the bathroom. Those monsters, I don't know what it is, but they make you gotta go.
We hop in the bathroom. I mean, no, not the bathroom. We don't hop in the bathroom.
We're all in the bathroom.
We do not do that.
Out of the bathroom. Cameron gets out of the bathroom. We hop in his car and we start the drive back home. And mind you, that drive got wild. There was a video call with one of our friends, Jamie. There was a lot of yelling and screaming songs really loudly. And but mind you, we all got home. By got home, I mean we got back to where the train left. And then we hopped into Peyton's car, and then from Peyton had to drive the rest of the 45 minutes back to my house, and then Peyton could go. But everybody got home.
You guys live on opposite side of town, don't you?
Yep.
Well, not so much anymore, but we did used to.
Right. But still, it's still a drive, isn't it?
Yeah. I only shaved about 10 minutes off my drive by moving where we moved, but yeah. So it was about a 15 to 20 minute drive from Steve Slad's house.
And yes, everybody got home.
And then I woke up and drove to the beach the next morning.
And then I woke up and didn't have a voice, and it hurt to swallow anything, even water, because my throat was shut.
Nice.
All like the yelling and goofing off, and especially yelling stuff during.
We had 21 Pilots and Green Day and Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
It was a good ride.
It was great.
Yeah. And that was the New York Fiasco, as I've been
Oh, yeah.
finishing it.
Woo!
That was it.
Woohoo.
We missed our train. Things were a little scary and dangerous.
That was
and
the most adult I ever felt whenever like I was like just like, excuse me, when's the next train? And I was like explaining the situation. I was like, man, look at me handling my shit. I was very happy with myself.
Someone give me a cookie.
The ticket lady way more than I appreciate the customer service.
Those customer service ladies were useless.
Working in
All they
customer
told us
service.
is that we couldn't go. Oh
working
my
in
gosh.
Customer service, you just have to get a lot of shit from people. You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel bad. I really do.
Yeah.
No, you know what? I don't. I went to All Better Care once, and I know those people get a lot of really shitty people coming into that medical facility, but that does not mean that give you the right to treat me like crap.
Yeah.
I am asking you a question, ma'am.
It's not even the fact that they treated us like crap, but they just like didn't give us all the information. And
Yeah, like we didn't even know there was a train that would have, gotten us home
You know what I think it was, Peyton?
the same day. What was
The
that?
fact that we had to upgrade our ticket. So they were trying to find us a way that it would just be a complete exchange of our ticket. But they weren't telling us the
That's
option.
possible.
But still, like either way,
Yeah.
at least bring that option up, and they never did, which is a little unfortunate. So I definitely appreciate that ticket lady, and also those two random blonde girls that mentioned the.
Who we overheard
9 p.m.
saying that there was a 9 p.m. train to Philadelphia. Yeah.
Definitely rode the lightning that time. That's for
Oh
sure.
yeah.
And yeah, on that note, that's the flavor for the week.
What flavor it is?
I mean, I don't know, Cameron. How about you give us the flavor for the week? What is this week's flavor?
The flavor of the week is rosemary.
I like that.
Ooh.
Nice. Good.
That's a good one.
Good choice. Yeah. Thank you guys for tuning into this episode. I'm looking at the time right now of recording. It was definitely a longer episode for sure than what the past 3 have been, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with just kind of talking, hanging out, letting it go for as long as it goes. But I appreciate you guys all for listening. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a review on any of your podcast services. Make sure you're following the podcast feed for when new episodes go up. I got a couple of project plans things that I might do on YouTube or just more stuff on the podcast feed. Cameron, Peyton, I appreciate you guys for being on episode 4.
Always a pleasure.
Return episode.
Always a pleasure.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you very, very much. And yeah, again, thank you guys for tuning in for That's the Flavor. I will catch you guys all next Sunday. And if you have any questions, anything you want to ask, don't be afraid to tweet at the account at That's the Flavor. And yeah, guys, I've been Christian. This has been Peyton and Cameron. And I will talk to you guys next week. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Yes.